expect Fnatic to be at the #1 spot after what they showed so far, but outside of that, I have no clue.
I just imagine that one guy that knows everything, that makes sure to let us know when he knows everything, that he's sitting at his keyboard, is ready to go, and he goes to write, and he's like, wait a minute. I don't have anything I need to type, and he doesn't say anything, and that's revenge right there.
There's two things how you can approach this. You can actually like look at it and say, okay, what are my favorites? Who do I like so far? But then you can also look at what are the remaining games for each team, and that's where it becomes really tricky. So if you actually take a look at the website and you take a look at the schedule, have fun puzzling out who has the best chances to end up in the top 3 at the end of part 1 in our second phase.
All right, so tweet us and let us know. Caldor and I have given you homework. We expect it in the next 2 hours. Now, Battleground number 2, where are we going between these two teams here? It's going to be Towers of Doom, expert with a choice, as Playing Ducks will elect to go with first pick.
And this is really interesting, because we know that the expert liked Towers of Doom, but what was the go-to battleground for the Ducks every single time they had a map choice?
It was Braxis Holdout, but that got banned out all the time, so Towers of Doom has been their choice.
Ever since they nearly beat Team Liquid on the map, every single time I want to bring this up, by the way, in my head is, ever since they beaten Team Liquid on this map in the last phase, and then I remember that we had that one judgment over the wall into the tower range that changed the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
And they actually lost in the end, but they looked so strong. Ever they did this fantastic aggressive play against Team Liquid, the Ducks went into Towers of Doom, and Expert just says, you know what? We pick the map, we go for Towers. First of all, we like it, and if we beat you there, we can beat you on any map.
Strong words from Expert with their Battleground choice. Can they pull it off against the Playing Ducks with a 2-0? After game number 1, I'm starting to think maybe Expert just slightly outskills the Playing Ducks, but this is their chance here to kind of show me a different route. Can the Playing Ducks bring everything together? We know their potential, the links, the dots. They just need to connect at some point, and I would love for it to be on Towers of Doom, their Battleground, where they can pull off pretty much anything if they are focused and on target.
This is probably one of the maps where I would hate to draft against ADRD the most. There's Abathur to consider, you have the Vikings to consider, Medivh is still around. There's so many heroes that they have a huge impact with that I don't really know how you draft against the experts here. It feels there's so many right choices, and I don't know, can you actually draft against Team Expert on this map? And for me personally, it feels that you have to simply focus on your own draft. Be aware of the threat, but don't try to outdraft Expert, because they have way too many ways they can play here. Just draft something for yourself where you say, okay, this is a fantastic draft for us. We can work with this.
Focus on you. Playing Ducks will ban out the Oriole, so Oriole will not be picked up here. Expert on the opposing side banned out Uther last time. Will they continue to move down that route, or do they have other things in store for the Ducks?
Okay, so we already have Uther about to be banned. Looks like both of the teams are heading into support bans again. Now, once more, Towers of Doom, this means Vikings are a possibility. Abathur is a huge threat. We could see Illidan with Hunt coming into play once again. There's a lot of things that could happen here. I would say that one of the heroes, okay, they go for Genji early on. I would have even suggested that maybe heading into an earlier Dehaka would make sense here, just so that you are a bit more flexible, so that you can react to whatever experts have.
You can answer back to whatever they give it to. Yeah. This might be a play from the Playing Ducks to move straight into the playmaking heroes they want, like the Genji, but to see if Team Expert is going to respond with a Medivh pick up earlier, because they grabbed it in game number 1 as a first pick. So maybe Expert's thinking, hey, do we want our Medivh earlier? I don't think Expert's going to bite that bait, though.
Yeah, but this is one of the concerns. They could. They are strong enough with Medivh to simply say, we can draft a Medivh composition. That takes you out. And it's also, again, the threat against the boss itself. So once we are getting into a phase of the game where you're saying, hey, boss is going to be a concern for us right now, we can take it, then with Medivh you can steal it away, you can just delay it a little bit and help the rest of your team coming in. But for me, it's really the macro play on the map, honestly. They're starting off with Nubarak taken, so that means that early on they commit again to Bad Benny playing the bug. And Rega, just simply because we have such a high priority on bans against the Uther and also against the Oriole here, Rega is a decent early pick. I don't think they would ever have gone into such an early Rega pick if not for those two bans.
Yeah. The cleanse still being powerful, and Rhaegar being one of the only ones left here with it. They decide not to get the Grey Mane, which we saw last time, and go for a different puppy, the Rhaegar being picked up. Now, over on the right side, Genji, what do they move into to really bolster this? Is Is Tassadar Tracer still something that the Playing Ducks would be willing to pick up in this rotation?
With this, with the Genji already, I'm not sure if you really want to commit to that. I would say no. I like the Dehaka pick a lot. As I said earlier, I would have even agreed with them picking him super high just so that they are more flexible to what the experts can bring onto the into the game. Genji Greymane is definitely solid for them. Tassadar Tracer, we've seen it from both teams in the past, so that would definitely work. But I don't think they would have played it with the Genji here already as the first pick and into. They don't really know what experts are doing. If you pick it this early, then I really think you give your opponent too much wiggle room to play against it, to draft against it.
Just interesting. I'm trying to wrap my head around all these supports and what options you can go into and how do you set yourself up to get what you want.
I mean, if you look at what we are seeing now for the Ducks, what would they play with the Tassadar Tracer? What would be the second support that really has the same impact as a Reka, Uza, Oriel? All three which are not available to you anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of the thought process here for them too.
A long time ago, we had the Tassadar Brightwing combination that was powerful, but you are correct in terms of what do you get to make it easier for Tracer to stay alive. Those options aren't really on the board. Abathur has now been banned out from the Playing Ducks.
No love for the Slug. ET, well, we have Stitches taken out as well for the front line. Okay, but here comes the double pick. So now I want to see what they're going to do with this. First of all, if they want to go into the... They are the ones who could pick that Tassadar. On their side, if they want to say, hey, we're going to play a double support combo with a Tracer, with anything else, they could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Way more than the Ducks. And we know that one of the heroes that ADRD plays a lot is, of course, Tassadar, so that would work for them if they go into the Tassadar pick. He's actually starting to improve his hero pool quite greatly. I mean, last map we saw him on the Greymane, for example. But there it is. Tassadar taken, I like that. The question is, what do they combo it with? Because they still have a lot of options, but they could definitely head into a Tracer if they wanted to.
There's always Illidan on the board. Would we be seeing the Illidan? Who would play the Illidan if we did go that route? And there it is, the
There we
Illidan.
go. That's going to be a Ethereal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I like that as well. So Ethereal is going to be on the Illidan, supported by 2. Tassadar is going to be played by ADRD. So we only have one that we still need, and that is Nick. So for Nick, Vala has been a big pick for him. Seen him on Tracer. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what he's going to play with this time. But of course, Illidan is going to be the one that you have to deal with when you are playing on the side of the Ducks, and question still remains, what is going to be the main tank? Do they pick an Arthas, for example? Do they really feel confident with that? Going up against the Illidan, are we seeing them maybe, not even suggested the Muradin, but I would like the Arthas a little more. I feel I'm still missing someone here though.
Yeah, I would like the Arthas for a pickup. There it is. Arthas and the Brightwing. So we have the Brightwing in the rotation. Is this going to be maybe a Lunara for expert? Nick's played some Lunara in the
good
past.
point.
Yeah,
the
Lunara. Lunara would do a lot against Arthas in particular. Just trying to slow them down, and then Brightwing just has a hard time healing that out.
I have definitely one of those facepalm moments right now. I was thinking about the Vala, maybe the Tracer, but another third option would be the Lunara. And Lunara has been the go-to for so many teams, so you're absolutely right on that. And it just shows how many choices they have now. They have all the options. So I don't think they're waiting this long because they are struggling to fill that last spot. It's just a question of, okay, what of these choices is going to be the best one for us? Because they have a lot that can really help here. They can play the Vala, they can go into Lunara, they could even say, hey, we're going to trace that up here a little bit and disrupt the backline of our opponent even more. They're in a fantastic spot.
Is this patch the one with the new Guillotine Zul'jin? That's Tracer going to be the last pickup. I need to get that in my head. The Guillotine Zul'jin, I think, is in the mix now. So it is Illidan Tracer. They can chase people for days, it looks like.
Yeah. And I just don't think that Brightwing is going to be the hero to save you here.
The spell shield is now available for her at the earlier side now, so she does handle the pulse bombs much better, but...
True, but I just don't think that she brings the heal that you need. For me personally, Brightwing, outside of a global composition, the ones that Fnatic likes to use, outside of you going into full global, I just think against Illidan and Tracer, you don't have enough to have the impact that you're looking for.
She can handle one dive hero, but 2 becomes a bit too stressful for her. Illidan and Tracer will be hard to handle. I don't know. It comes down to the Arthas, making sure that he spells back correctly, make sure he's near that Illidan, he's there, and that way Brightwing can focus on the correct target. Drag's have to be on point, and then Genji and Greymane have to deplete a support right away, I feel like, for them to win a team fight. If things draw out, Team Expert should take advantages.
I'm just not sold on the Brightwing. The only time where we saw Brightwing being really successful was the last game of the mid-season brawl when Fnatic played it against Dignitas, and that was also with a full global comp that Fnatic excels at on Sky Temple. The 2 times before in that grand final when Fnatic relied on Brightwing, they lost both times. So we have seen a few games where Brightwing was successful, but as a solo support and in this setup, I'm not really convinced. So this is a chance for the playing Ducks to just show me that I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But Brightwing feels to me personally that it's always a risk. Then again, they were kind of forced into a different path because of that massive choke, or not choke, but the massive bans that were targeting supports. It's not like there was an Uther available on Oriel or Rega available. They didn't have these choices. They could have gone maybe into the Karazim here, but Brightwing definitely offers a few things against the Tracer and also against Illidan. So we're going to find out in the game if they're successful with it.
Well, it's time to find out if Brightwing will pay off for the teams. Going into game number 2, Towers of Doom. Expert will lead 1-0.
Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, on Towers of Boom. We have to the left side in the lead, 1-0 against their opponent. Team Expert with Curson on Rega, Bad Benny on Anuburak, Nick on Tracer, ADRD on Tassadar, and Aethero Angel is playing Illidan.
On the right side of the battleground, Sport Billy playing Genji, Wolf Joe on the Brightwing, Etherno playing Dahaka, Chris on Greymane, and Nande will be playing Arthas. The playing Ducks will be in the red.
Now the Ducks in the red, and the Ducks also behind, so they have to put some effort into this game now. So right now we're currently seeing them going straight with Nande into block as the level 1 talent. And we also have Rega committing on the first talent straight into the totem. So we're going to have the synergy with the Earthgrasp totem later on level 16, very likely at least. Colossal totem now taken. But let's find out how much the Ducks can do. Brightwing is particularly the one hero that I'm looking forward to.
I'm also looking into the mounts here. There are 3 happy cloud mounts, which, I don't know, you're all about that money pig, but that cloud mount might be moving up in top 3 mounts of the game right now.
Oh yeah, the Cloud can definitely be in the top 3, but the number 1 spot is still the money. That doesn't change, I'm really sorry to say. It's one of those timeless mounts.
It's because he spent a lot of money on it, that's why. The 20k gold.
You have a mount that literally farts money. You can't beat that, and you're riding bacon.
You have a point. You have a point. The bacon I had not considered before. The bacon really brings that online for me.
Okay, thank you.
Well, our teams consider to rotate between the top and the middle, and Dahaka is actually getting into a spot lately where he gets a lot of pressure put on him in the early game. People are trying to keep his SSX down, trying to make sure that he's using that early on the trait. So now you're seeing this rotation consistently out of the top lane where Tassadar was up there to help Illidan, and we also had Genji come up to help Dahaka.
Before the game gets completely crazy, I have to just chip in on the money pig tangent for one more point. My dream, from a designer's perspective, Blizzard, I know you're listening, would be if you're mounted on the money pig and you get demounted by a fire spell, there should be bacon around you. That should just drop on the ground.
Because that's not visual clutter that we don't need in the game at all, Caldor.
Hey, you can make it pretty, I don't care, but there's an idea for you, Blizzard. Make it happen.
Instead, if Kael'thas kills somebody on the money pig, we send that person a full tray of bacon already cooked.
And now you're being silly.
No, that'd be amazing. I would play Kael'thas all day. Burning down.
All right, talking about play, we have the altars channeled. Look at that top Sport Billy already trying to get it in on the altar to the top left, but Eternal with that global Dehaka up to the top right, getting the shots in. And now the only altar after shots have been traded off that is still active is the one to the top left, and the experts are going to make their play.
This is a benefit for having Brightwing, is you're having that global, so you can get a few seconds on top of an altar, but ADRD comes in with the Side Storm and delays. Rhaegar's on the way for heals. Anuburak gets out with barely any health available. A Thorough goes in for the engage as well, and Team Expert has defended this push.
The altar is, of course, way closer to their base, so they have a bit of an easier time making this work. But you can tell that the Ducks are really eager to play with the double globals here. And this is really the strong part of their composition, that they have the Brightwing together with Dahaka available. Of course, Brightwing still needs a target for her global, but still, the movement or the mobility on the map is fantastic for them.
Pulse Bomb goes off, it does miss, but we're going to have the chase already happening here for Nick as Chris will get low. Bad Benny is dealt with pretty swiftly here, and so will another member as Curson gets picked off and the Playing Ducks defend the invade.
That was an interesting invade in the first place, because Illidan is during all the time still up at the top lane. I feel this is a fight that he could have let go. I don't think they expected the fast rotations here, but with the Haka and Brightwing on the map, they have to expect this. So Expert maybe a little bit overly aggressive here, thinking that they can make this work, but they should wait for Illidan to have more of an impact in the game.
Illidan will have that impact in a few more levels. The 7 will be coming online soon for our team. The Playing Ducks will get it first. Ping pong build here for our Genji, hoping to jump around the fights. And you kind of need that against the high mobility characters of Tracer and Illidan. You're hoping to get those resets and be able to chase them down.
So let's see how, I mean, early level 7 for the Ducks give them a slight advantage. And they actually invade the camp at the bot left now. Bad Benny is there. Illidan can still not move over. I like how the Ducks are exploiting the early game advantage here that they've now worked for.
Their invade's pretty powerful. Arthas, Grammy in particular, great in the early game, especially if you can lock somebody down. Tracer and crew, they have low health points. They can't really contest those points as well, especially with that Anubrecht there. So Team Expert will defend out on the bottom left, but they are starting to slip a little bit in experience here. 8 is about to hit for the Ducks, while they have 7.5.
Now again, while we're looking at what's happening here, the Experts are still ahead in hit points on the core. And it's important to note that with Illidan, the level 10 gives you so much more flexibility on the map, because you will have the hunt available and therefore your pseudo global. Illidan himself at the top lane had also needed to give up another camp, so the Ducks are really moving in with an early game advantage, but in core points they are still behind, and this is the best map to start a comeback later on. So for Experts, they are still absolutely fine here.
They are still fine. Holding on, even the altar here on the bottom. Brightwing's making her way down to help out in the fight while Nande steps forward. A tongue does hit on Tracer, but we're going to have a cleanse come out instantly here from Curson.
And Illidan is still up to the top lane, so please don't report Ethereal Angel just yet, but he's currently AFK top, getting experience for his team. And that Expert is willing to give up the altar shows once again that they're just working around Illidan heading into the late game.
Yeah.
They're currently pressuring the structure, so Illidan is trying to pick some additional experience up, and he can do that because Eternal moved down with his global to the bot lane. This is basically what they're saying. So the call in voice was definitely, Ethereal, you stay top. If Illidan if the Haka burrows down, we give up the altar, but you will get extra experience for us because you're alone in the lane. So that's the idea here. And if you look at the experience now, we have them on nearly the same level. Yes, it's 32 points against 32 points on the core, but this is still absolutely fine for Expert as long as they hit the level 10 on with the same power spike as the Ducks.
And it looks like they'll be on the same track as the Playing Ducks with the 9.5 and 9.5. You're right, that experience on top was great for them. Now the Ducks will be able to get a big wave here in the middle and take a nice little lead as they hit 10, but it's all about hitting 10 before the next altar phase, which is very doable for both our teams. Expert went ahead and even grabbed the Mercs early before Ducks grabbed 10, so they had nothing to lose from their opponents. From here, they can play safe and make sure not get picked off.
So the 10s are taken now, and this is really where the game is starting to change a bit. Watch for that hunt coming in. But Benny, on the other hand, needs to make sure that he gets out of there. Isolation being used. Illidan jumps in, but a good drag, and that's the end of an Uberak. That's what they needed to avoid here. Ethereal comes in and tries to help out, but he cannot get a counter kill. It's another short window that we see for the Ducks. But of course, Anubarak will be back in time for that altar.
He'll be back with that Cocoon. We have the Hunt being picked up as well as Quantum Spike, Archon, and Ancestral healing for Team Expert. On the right side for the Ducks, Dragon Blade, Emerald Wind being utilized here for Wolfjaw.
Yeah, also the Bell Tower to the bot lane nearly falling, but they are putting free damage now on Nanda. And Hasadar saved that bell tower with a shield. We have now a double altar, so very likely that it's going to be an even exchange. But as we said, Illidan has the hunt now, so now the team can use the pseudo global to start taking those team fights.
I'm excited though with the Brightwing Emerald Wind. Whenever the hunt does come in, if it's not on Brightwing in particular, she can step forward, drop off the Emerald Wind, try to keep the opponents at bay, and then you turn around with the Grammy and the Arthas and you try to take out Illidan before he gets out. However, you have to be alive for that to happen. Brightwing is gone.
You said it, I was thinking it. Nanda is also pressured back after the Cocoon is destroyed, but this is Expert now starting to make a few moves. move. Sport Billy, on the other hand, he wants it, but he gets the damage in and dies instead of dropping the Haka. Nice burrow by Eternal. Bad Benny not getting the stun, the tongue coming out, but Eternal not able to connect it. But this is Expert showing up now after level 10 and telling the Ducks, it's not going to be that easy, boys. We are still here to fight.
The theme continues to be the same here. The playing Ducks as well in the early game. They did even better in the early game here. They got a few more kills, but once 10 hits, Expert just seems to be much better at team fighting as a unit of 5. Curson baited the Genji into a fight on the left side, and the moment he was at a spot where he could get the kill, a Thorough came in with the hunt, they locked down the Genji, and they took him out.
Yeah, I'm really liking the team fight potential that we have from Team Expert, and they have to show that, of course, now during these fights. All the battles that happened so far were 4 versus 5s, and it changes now. Greymane down, they isolate him, they go for Sport Billy. Genji trying to escape here, but Aethera is on him, and without his E, without his dash, he just doesn't have a chance. That's the kill that the Experts were waiting for, and now they are driving home the momentum. They have so much. They will definitely take this bell tower in time.
Yep, get the bell tower right before an altar phase activates 2. 2 of them available, one in the middle, one in the bottom in 15 seconds. Everything looking great for Expert. Brightwing keeping them in the game though with the double global available for the playing Ducks. They're able to soak the middle and the top lane and grab those sappers. So they are answering back, but team fights, they gotta start winning.
And those sappers taken mean that the Ducks are on a clock one way or another. We already have Rega channeling the bottom altar. That's an easy pick, that's 5 shots fired. And the fight in the mid lane, you have to either defend against the zappers or give up the altar. There's 1 or 2, and this is a kill against Brightwing again. This is them just going completely ham. Chris is so isolated.
Chris is so isolated, and he's dead. Sport Billy left here on the right side. A Thorough going for the chase, but Nande will be the last one standing here for the playing Ducks before getting to a turret. Bad Penny goes in, gets the body block. 3 for 0. And we have a total of 7 kills for Expert as they're hoping to even open up this bell tower.
Yeah, and they get another 5 shots. I was actually for a moment thinking they would commit to the bell tower in the middle and wait until they get the altar through. So they are looking fantastic here once again. They just took a 10 hit point lead on the course. 28 on the side of Expert and 18 for the Ducks. 2 bell towers have been claimed by Team Expert, which means they're on 6 bell towers against 2, and they have taken nearly a 2-level lead at this point. This is Expert just running away with the advantage.
Expert trying to solidify their spot in the top 3 here. Remember, their overall plans were to go to the Western Clash if possible. And they're playing like it, leaving nothing up here for questioning for the playing Ducks, controlling the bottom bell tower, getting Mercenaries on the left side, allowing Illidan to continue with the double smoke in here in the middle and the top, can hunt in at any point. They're moving quickly towards level 16.
And let's not forget, Team Expert has never even lost a map against the playing Ducks in HGC. This is an absolute incredible feat, and now they are trying to make the exact same thing happen once again. They already have the 7-0 against the Ducks in our regular season. And at this point, it looks very much like this is going to increase to be an 8-0 if this continues. Because the Experts, they are about to hit their level 16, and once that's the case, they will have the additional talent.
Nande locked up on the side here. Bad Bidding goes in. Army of the Dead gets popped. And Team Expert is willing to disengage. Now, Eternal comes in, and there's an Emerald combo here available. They're going to pop it off here. Bad Benny misses out on it, though. Will get the shields and the heals. The throws on the left side, and Cester healing too, and they have a route to run to. Team Expert disengages. The Hunt coming out, though.
Hunt into the back line. Aethera is still fine, though. Everybody's low on the side of the Ducks. Nande, especially, down he goes. Arthur's eliminated, and Eternal is supposed to be next. They're jumping in. Stuns from Bad Benny. They get 1, they get 2. It's a triple, and they still have everything on the map. Triple altar is ready. This could be game.
This isn't
this should be
good
game
for the Ducks. I mean,
it's 15. This should be game.
Yeah, if they get all 3 of them, that will be game over. Genji's going to go over to the top right and clear out. And the communication seems to be not quite there for the Ducks. They even took 3 people on 1 pulse bomb and took the damage overall. Team Expert moving in, looking for the game right now. Impale comes out, hits Chris, gets him low, and Nick is channeling. That's Sport Billy come out, but they have the Hunt to lock him down, and he's dead.
Yeah, he's down, and that has to be it. We have 5 points on the core. There's the Cocoon. Not on my watch, bro. And there's the channel. Kirsten has done it. The game is over. The Ducks are to 0-2 in this series. Team Expert in 13 minutes takes them out on Towers of Doom.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Expert has no chill right now as they are continuing to just shut down the playing Ducks as much as they can here. 2-0 over the Ducks and looking for a 3-0 on the next game. What do you do if you're the playing Ducks? It seems to me like there might be some tilt going on. There was in the bottom right corner, there was a moment when a pulse bomb hit the Arthas, and everyone just grouped up and took all the damage from it. They didn't even attempt to retreat.
Well, to be fair, they were all trying to run away.
Yeah, they're all trying to run away.
And it's a choke point. So it's basically Arthur says, is that pulse bomb going to kill me? If it does, then I should probably just suicide into the other direction. But they were just all trying to run away, and it was exactly that choke point. So, but you are right. That pulse bomb did a tremendous amount of damage because of it, because they were all clumped on it. But I think at that point, that fight was basically over. They had the first kill already. That was the second, if I'm not mistaken. So
let's see if Expert can continue to be the savages they are and come back and win the game with a 3-0 after we get back from the commercial break.